Well, hello Patriots, wherever you are around the world. Archangel Que back, going to make another video on a very important subject. As you know, the Q plan stage 1 is probably coming to an end. We're going to be entering stage 2, which is the golden age, as mentioned by Donald Trump on numerous occasions now. So this video relates to the golden age ahead and how we keep it that way. So excuse me, the title of this video is Buddha's 2,500-year-old prophecy, part of the Q plan question. So is it part of the Q plan? I'm going to present data which basically proves that it possibly is part of the Q plan. So here we go. Did you know that Gautama Siddhartha, or Buddha, prophesied that he would return in 2,500 years to complete the teachings he started as the Buddha? And did you also know that Mr Hubbard wrote a poem in a book entitled Hymn of Asia, where he reveals that he was the Buddha in a previous life and reincarnated in March 13, 1911 as Mr Hubbard to complete the teachings he started as the Buddha 2,500 years earlier. And in this video I'm going to show you why Mr Hubbard is a white hat and how his work is so important to the golden age ahead and the Q plan. Excuse me, it's fascinating, isn't it? So please strap in, get a nice hot cup of tea or coffee, relax and enjoy the ride, because what I'm about to reveal in this video may possibly blow your mind. You may have to listen to this video several times to fully grasp the significance of what I'm about to tell you. This is never before released intelligence. However, it is time for it to be released, as we are about to enter the beginnings of the golden age President Trump talked about so often and as prophesied by the Buddha 2,500 years ago. Also in this video, we need to seriously begin thinking about how we can keep the golden age that's soon to begin, and never allow evil to control and suppress humanity and destroy civilizations again, as has been the case throughout Earth's history. Now, a word of warning. You may have been MK Ultra'd with the lies by the mainstream, CIA-controlled mainstream media about Mr Hubbard and his work, creating the first and only science of the mind, Dianetics, and the first and only science of spiritual rehabilitation, Scientology. If so, please try to listen to what I'm about to tell you with a non-judgmental mind. Try to connect the dots with me as I lay out how Mr Hubbard's work has to be part of the Q plan, stage 2, the golden age ahead. As I have mentioned in earlier videos, I have been on the path of this timeline for billions of years, culminating in where we are right now, here on planet Earth. I've been guiding and fighting all the way with a multitude of other spiritual beings, with the intention of awakening and stabilizing existence in this sector of this galaxy, to the degree that we can finally round up the evilest beings who have operated in this galaxy and beyond, also for billions of years, wreaking havoc, chaos, and destruction wherever they have been able to establish their evil agenda. The 2 billion year plan was to flush them all here to planet Earth. It has not been easy, but at last it was achieved, and here we are now on the precipice of a great victory, which in fact was already won some time ago. But for the purpose of the game and the show, to awaken those not part of the plan, the normies, we have had to show them, or they would never believe it and wake up. It is my job not to get myself immersed in the fight on a day-to-day basis like most truth podcasters out there. It is my job to remain external to the whole operation so I can always see the bigger picture. In this way I can guide and project into the future details of the plan that was foreseen and agreed to billions of years ago with our Creator. All of us have our part to play, whether knowingly or unknowingly, as we are all connected through our Creator, through the spiritual universe. Now, I will go into some data as to why Mr. Hubbard and his life's works are so relevant to the Great Awakening and the new world of peace, love, truth, prosperity and justice we are about to enter, the Golden Age. Mr. Hubbard, like Nikola Tesla, was never truly recognized for his achievements by the majority of Americans, or the world for that matter. Why is this? Because the deep state, evil cabal, and their agenda of control and to hide the truth from us all. It was the CIA who began the campaign to discredit Mr. Hubbard and his work, because after Mr. Hubbard completed his research and discovered Dianetics and published the book Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health in 1950, the CIA wanted Hubbard to use his research and deep understanding of how the spiritual mind worked to help them with their MK Ultra agenda. When Mr. Hubbard refused, the threats to his family began, and the attacks against his work also began. Mr. Hubbard didn't come to Earth again to fulfill the 2,000-year-old Buddhist prophecy and to discover Dianetics and Scientology to enslave humanity. He came here to fulfill his prophecy to free humanity from slavery, mentally and spiritually, as prophesied by him 2,500 years ago as the Buddha. One of the CIA-controlled mainstream media favourite stories to discredit Hubbard was to link him closely with Aleister Crowley, who was well known for his research into the satanic and evil aspects of existence. This narrative was an obvious distraction and a lie when you consider they existed in different generations. Crowley died in 1947, 3 years before Hubbard published his book Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, at the age of 36 years. I doubt there is any evidence that Hubbard had time to even go to England to meet excuse me a minute. I doubt there was any evidence that Hubbard had time to go to England to meet Crowley. The CIA story tried to portray Hubbard as associating with Crowley when Hubbard lived in England. But Hubbard moved to live in England during the 1960s, long after Crowley had died. Suffice it to say, the CIA and cabal through the mainstream media have done nothing but attack Mr. Hubbard and his works ever since. What does that tell you, my friends? Yes, Hubbard's work was over the target, and the last thing the deep state cabal wanted, was for Dianetics to be used to free the human mind from their influence, their MK Ultra control, hence why Dianetics and Scientology were such a threat to the deep state cabal. So they used the mainstream media to MK Ultra society into believing that Hubbard's work was brainwashing people, when in fact it was the exact opposite. It was it's capable of unbrainwashing people. As usual, the satanic cabal inverts the truth to cover its agenda. And we all know all about that, don't we? Now, some background as to the spiritual nature of Hubbard. As I revealed earlier in this video, Hubbard himself told us he was incarnated as Buddha 2,500 years ago in his book Hymn of Asia, which I hope you have had time to review. I hope all the data about this is in the link below in the video's description. Alright, here's the Hymn of Asia on your screen now. It's you can probably go and see it through Goodreads. That's the site I brought up here. That's the way the book looks. It's a dark black cover with gold embossed writing. It's done in a calligraphic form. It's beautifully bound and beautifully written in handwritten calligraphy. So you can go and I think if you join up with Goodreads, you can actually read the book online on their site if you want to. All right. Okay, so after reading this, now I'll just bring it out of there. After reading this, you may comprehend why Hubbard appeared again on this planet during this very important period in our history here on planet Earth. He, as Buddha, then foresaw and talked about this period of time in Earth's history and predicted the new golden age ahead of us. It's all in the Buddhist prophecies, which you can research yourself online as well. He also hints at why it is so important he came back this century to complete his work started as Buddha some 2,500 years earlier. Basically, humanity would be in deep trouble, and this would be the last chance to save the Homo sapiens species from total slavery and certain destruction. So you may ask, why is Hubbard's work so important, and how can it have such an important role in saving humanity and freeing us as the spiritual beings we truly are? The answer becomes apparent when you consider all the great civilizations of Earth's history. Where did they go? What happened to them? Why did they fail? The answer lies in the part of the mind all spiritual beings have, and which has never been scientifically identified, mapped, and verified in the history of this universe. That is until Buddha, as Hubbard, returned, as he promised, this century to finish the work he started as the Buddha over 2,500 years earlier. Dianetics, which is a science of the mind and has nothing to do with religion, identified two parts of the mind a spiritual being has and uses to operate in universes. One is the analytical mind, and the second part of the spiritual being's energetic mind is the reactive mind. It is the reactive mind that is the big problem. It is the part of the mind that controls a being without a person or being being aware of it. It is the subconscious mind and is the reason why MK Ultra works. It is the source of all irrational behavior, perversions, compulsions, criminality, and all insanity. In short, it is the cause of all suffering, insanity, crime, and war. Dianetics is the key to eradicating the reactive mind from a spiritual being operating in a human body or any body type that a spiritual being animates and can communicate intelligently through. The point is, it is not the body that contains the reactive mind. It is the being itself, which carries it around with it, lifetime after lifetime, which explains why we are all capable of remembering past lives. A spiritual being uses its mind, analytical and reactive, to record everything on a moment-by-moment basis in mental image picture form while operating within universes. Now, I'll show you the book Dianetics and where you can have a look at it. You can go to I'll put this link in the description of this video below, but basically you just need to go to dianetics.org, www.dianetics.org, and there you can see it's available. $25 to order, and that's with free shipping. So that's the site. It's an all-time best-selling book, as you can see there. You can read all about it on the site. 75 years now, 20 million sold, 50 languages, 206 nations. It's been printed in. So you've got to realise that Mr Hubbard is the greatest published writer in the world. With all his works on Dianetics and Scientology, it's incredible. And if you go into one of his organisations, or churches as they are called, you'll be able to see the extensive nature of the work he's done, and that most of you are unaware and have not recognised. It's just a shame. It's a terrible shame that this is the case. It tells you a bit about the reactive mind there. Yeah. There's what Dianetics means. Dia equals through, nous equals mind or soul. So through the mind or soul is the science of Dianetics. That's how you're able to get rid of your reactive mind, is by using the scientific techniques, counselling techniques, which laser in on the reactive mind and eventually clear it from you as a spiritual being. As it says here, if you've ever felt like something is stopping you from reaching your full potential, you were right. That unseen force is the reactive mind, a hidden part of your mind that stores painful experiences and uses them against you. It disrupts your thoughts, fuels negative emotions, and holds you back. But there is a way to break free. Dianetics gives you the tools to remove stress, anxiety, and unwanted emotions. It's the handbook for eliminating the hidden barriers standing between you and success, helping you become your true self. All right, so that's about it there. All right, so the point I'm making here is that unless we can eradicate the reactive mind from humanity, any great strides we make as a species will be a wasted effort. Because sooner or later, the evil beings of the deep state cabal, who are deeply affected by the reactive mind and dramatize its commands in the most horrific ways, will eventually tear down what good sane people, excuse me a minute, just checking something here. Yes, what good sane people have built to benefit humanity. Just as has happened time and time again on this planet, and indeed throughout this universe. It is the reason civilizations come and go. So until we can clear the reactive mind from a high percentage of populations, we will never have permanent and stable civilizations anywhere. Good humans tend to follow the evilest beings dramatizing their reactive minds because they also have a reactive mind and can easily be suppressed and submit to the evilest humanoids, like the percentage of 3% who were controlling this planet until recently. Hubbard's research identified that 3% is the percentage of humans who are antisocial personalities, psychopaths in other words. Not all of this 3% are part of the deep state evil cabal and actively involved in the suppression of humanity, but possibly 1.5 to 2% of them are. That's just my estimate, my opinion. In present time, the White Hat Alliance has finally been able to identify this percentage of the 3% and their slaves or minions, who due to having reactive minds were easily controlled by these psychopaths through all the various means like blackmail, threats against life, bribes, etc., that you are all fully aware of, I'm sure. But how long has the planet suffered and humanity been held back under their influence before some very able and smart people in the White Hat Alliance finally recognized their insidious evil ways? Yes, tens of thousands of years. Atlantis came and went, and how many other advanced civilizations? And in modern times, over the past 200 years, man has been suppressed and pulled back from advancement time and time again. Consider Tartaria, a highly advanced, with free energy, civilization and many other technologies, which practically vanished from our history, and everything suppressed by the evil cabal about it. Excuse me. I believe the Alliance military intelligence is very aware of Mr. Hubbard's spiritual and mind technology. They must be aware of it because it is a vital part of the big plan to permanently free our species from the influence of these psychopaths forever. Like it or not, they know it contains knowledge on how to identify the antisocial personality, and it is being used by them to take down a percentage of the 3% of psychopaths and those minions under their control. And this may partly be how the Alliance has been so surgical in identifying and removing these evil beings. However, what do we do with these evil, traitorous people? We can hang them, guillotine them, imprison them, or shoot them. But this is only a temporary solution to the problem. Because remember, a spiritual being is immortal, even the evilest of them. So what's stopping these monsters from reincarnating and infiltrating our societies again and again? Nothing at all. So the reason why Mr. Hubbard appeared on Earth during the 1900s was to bring us his science of the mind, Dianetics, and science of our spiritual nature and essence, Scientology. Ron intended this science and technology to be used, I should say, Mr. Hubbard, you may not know I'm referring to Mr. Hubbard if I use his first name, Ron. Mr. Hubbard intended this science and technology to be used by our civilization to ensure it survives into eternity. Here's how it works. We use Dianetics to clear as many humans as possible of their reactive minds. For every human cleared of his reactive mind, the less force the collective reactive mind has on humanity. This raises the frequency of the population as a whole, meaning the less power the 3% of evildoers has over a population, the less susceptible they are to being MK Ultra'd again by them. Whilst this is happening, we use the technology of identification in Scientology to identify and isolate these evil beings as they reincarnate into our societies. It is possible to rehabilitate them, but only if they cooperate. If they are too far gone and will not cooperate with Hubbard's rehabilitation science as contained in Dianetics and Scientology, then these beings should be sent to another planet to live and kill amongst themselves until we have time to try with them again. So I'm hoping that by now you are beginning to see the bigger picture and just how Hubbard's work will have a very important role to play in our new civilization ahead. Of course, the MK Ultra affected followers of other religions will have a different perspective on this, but my answer to them is, what have their religions done to identify and stop the deep state cabal and their evil agenda throughout our history? Yes, nothing, because they have no understanding of the spiritual mind and were easily infiltrated by these cunning psychopaths and had no way of identifying and eliminating them. Mr Hubbard recognized this, which is why he set up Scientology to be non-denominational. He didn't discover Dianetics and Scientology to dominate or replace any religion. He intended it to be used to supplement other religions, so that the followers of every religion could become more spiritually able and free to enjoy their faith and relationship with their Creator and the universe. In support of this, we'll have a look at the creed of Scientology. You can read it for yourself as well, but I'll bring up the link here and read it for you, and it will prove a point to most people who listen to this. All right, just hold on. All right, here we have it. I brought up Scientology.org. The link to this will be in the description below this video as well, and you can take your time to research for yourself and read it a few times to just get an understanding of the magnitude of what this document actually says. All right, so the Creed of the Church of Scientology. The Creed of the Church of Scientology was written by L. Ron Hubbard shortly after the church was formed in Los Angeles in February 18, 1954. After Mr. Hubbard issued this creed from his office in Phoenix, Arizona, the Church of Scientology adopted it as its creed because it succinctly states what Scientologists believe. And I personally believe what every American under a constitutional republic believes as well, because it very closely aligns with that. So it starts, we of the Church believe that all men of whatever race, colour or creed were created with equal rights, that all men have inalienable rights to their own religious practices and their performance, that all men have inalienable rights to their own lives, that all men have inalienable rights to their sanity, that all men have inalienable rights to their own defence, that all men have inalienable rights to conceive, choose, assist or support their own organisations, churches and governments, that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others, that all men have inalienable rights to the creation of their own kind, that the souls of men have the rights of men, that the study of the mind and healing of mentally caused ills should not be alienated from religion or condoned in non-religious fields, and that no agency less than God has the power to suspend or set aside these rights overtly or covertly. And we of the Church believe that man is basically good, that he is seeking to survive, that his survival depends upon himself and upon his fellows and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. And we of the Church believe that the laws of God forbade man to destroy his own kind, to destroy the sanity of another, to destroy or enslave another's soul, to destroy or reduce the survival of one's companions or one's group. and we of the Church believe that the spirit can be saved, and that the spirit alone may save or heal the body. All right, so that's just hold on a minute. Just bring up Archangel Que again. There we go. So after reading that, can you see from this how Hubbard intended for his work to be used? You'll also realise how closely it aligns with the idea of a constitutional republic, common law, and what Jasara is supposed to bring us with the QFS. Next, look at how the aims of Scientology also align with what is going on right now. Jasara and the QFS will help to eliminate war and a great part of the crime. However, it cannot eliminate insanity, which is the root cause of war and crime. That's where Mr Hubbard steps in with Dianetics and Scientology. This is the cement on which a foundation can be built, which is so strong nothing will be able to tear our New World civilization down. All right, so now we have the aims of Scientology. These are very interesting as well. So I'll read this to you as well, then you can take your time to go through it if you want to later. The link, as I said, for this site is going to be in the description below this video. Now, the aims of Scientology. These were written by Mr Hubbard in September 1965. And here are the aims. A civilization without insanity, without criminals, and without war, where the able can prosper and honest beings can have rights, and where man is free to rise to greater heights, are the aims of Scientology. Pretty simple. First announced to an inturbulated world in 1950, these aims are well within the grasp of our technology. Non-political in nature, Scientology welcomes any individual of any creed, race or nation. We seek no revolution, we seek only evolution to higher states of being for the individual and for society. We are achieving our aims. After endless millennia of ignorance about himself and his mind, a breakthrough has been made for man. Other efforts man has made has been surpassed. The combined truths of 50,000 years of thinking men, distilled and amplified by new discoveries about man, have made for this success. We welcome you to Scientology. We only expect of you your help in achieving our aims and helping others. We expect you to be helped. Scientology is the most vital movement on earth today. In a turbulent world, the job is not easy, but then if it were, we wouldn't have been doing it. We respect man and believe he is worthy of help. We respect you and believe you too can help. Scientology does not owe its help. We have done nothing to cause us to propitiate. Had we done so, we would not be bright enough to do what we are doing. Excuse me. Man suspects all offers of help. He has often been betrayed, his confidence shattered. Too frequently he has given his trust and been betrayed. We may err, for we build a world with broken straws, but we will never betray your faith in us so long as you are one of us. The sun never sets on Scientology, and may a new day dawn for you, for those you love, and for man. Our aims are simple if great, and we will succeed and are succeeding at each new revolution of the earth. Your help is acceptable to us. Our help is yours. Okay, so now, after being made aware of the creed and the aims of Scientology, I'm hoping that you are beginning to realise how the fake news, CIA-controlled mainstream media has lied about Mr Hubbard's works. The common sense and goodness just in those two documents or items alone tell you so much. Every American should be very proud of Mr Hubbard and his achievements. He should be recognised, he should be revered as a great American and not ridiculed and lied about. His good work will be recognized in the old golden age ahead, because the antisocial psychopaths and mainstream media, CIA-controlled mainstream media, will no longer be able to lie and suppress truth and goodness in our society. This brings me to the final conclusion of this video, Patriots. This is why I know Mr. Hubbard's work is such an important part of the big picture of what is going on right now, and more so into the future. You may or may not be aware that a spiritual being can operate more than one identity or life on the same timeline concurrently. It's because of this fact that I have reason to believe that Mr. Hubbard and Donald Trump they coexisted on the same timeline for a period while Ron Hubbard was still alive. And once Mr. Hubbard passed away in 1986, there remained only the identity of Donald Trump, but one and the same on a different time continuum previously, but now on the one time continuum with full power and force. I suspect this is so because I know the big plan from a 40,000 foot view, so to speak. I see the big picture of how it all fits together. Dianetics and Scientology were given to humanity to ensure we never go back to where we were before. And again, this is why the deep state cabal saw Hubbard's work as such a threat. The proof of this is in the prophecy of Buddha as told by him to his followers 2,500 years ago. It says that he would return to Earth early this century to complete his work, that he would appear in the West and would have golden or red hair. Mr. Hubbard wrote Hymn of Asia to confirm that he is Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha, reincarnated as he promised 2,500 years earlier. He did appear in the West, he had red or golden hair, and he completed his works for freeing humanity from the endless cycle of birth and death and suffering, as he promised when he discovered Dianetics and Scientology technology. And why do I say Mr. Hubbard and Donald Trump are the same being? Well, Trump also has golden or red hair and has been instrumental in making it possible for a new golden age to begin, as prophesied by Buddha 2,500 years earlier, and making it a reality by leading the way in the war to take down the deep state evil cabal. Remember, Buddha completed the work he began 2,500 years earlier by returning as Hubbard. But what use is his work and the prophecy if there was no way of defeating the evil that was trying to enslave and destroy the Homo sapiens species? That's right, no use at all in actual fact. Therefore, of course, he needed to complete the prophecy by having a second identity and life as Trump to enforce the plan to destroy the evil, and thereby allowing the transition to be prophesied, the transition to the prophesied golden age for humanity to be possible. In other words, evil has to be eliminated on this planet first for a golden age to be a permanent reality, through the use of Hubbard's science of the mind, Dianetics, and of spiritual rehabilitation, Scientology. Excuse me. Because remember, without Hubbard's technology of the mind and spiritual rehabilitation, every other great civilization ever built on this planet or anywhere in this universe has never been permanent due to insanity, crime, and war. And Dianetics can certainly resolve human insanity, and therefore crime and war too. It's very simple and also very logical. I pray that you can also see this now. Therefore, on that note, I'll rest my case, my friends. It's upward and onward from here, my dear friends, into eternity. Please do your own research, and I hope you will agree with me. I encourage you to find out the truth for yourself. Go into one of Mr. Hubbard's Scientology organizations and find out for yourself how the mainstream media has lied about him and his work. Godspeed, my friends, and keep up the good work of awakening to the truth day by day. Love, peace, truth, justice, and prosperity for all. Archangel Que out.